You are looking at the Asobo AnyBuilds A330 300 model in glorious Northwest livery. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. CJ here. I'm your classic jet sim pilot, and today we're doing something a little different. As some of you may have seen in my community feed, I am in the process of building a new sim rig, same computer and so forth, but working with SimFab to develop a home cockpit that hopefully I can share with everybody here pretty soon. But I'm still waiting on several parts. One of which is a custom yoke mount for my Moza force feedback that will allow me to switch back and forth between side stick and yoke easily, and mount it in such a way that I can use that yoke mount and then swap it out for a keyboard tray when I'm not using the yoke and so forth. Anyway, net result is I only have side stick right now, and as a result of that, I'm limiting myself to side stick style aircraft for a while. I can't really get into flying with my AB9 like the 737 yoke controlled aircraft. It's my own hang up. I know people do it all the time. They love it. Just not me. So today we're going to do a little recreation of a flight that took place when the A330 was brand new to Northwest. And we're going to do a repositioning flight. The first revenue flight of the A330 at Northwest was from Detroit to Amsterdam. But today we're at Northwest headquarters in Minneapolis, and we're going to reposition the airplane over to Detroit with some VIPs. So we've got not much fuel because we don't need much to go to Detroit, and we've only got about 45 people on board, VIPs, company execs, and so forth. And should make for a spirited takeoff, climb, and quick flight over to Detroit. And I have not spent a lot of time in the A330, so we're gonna kind of do this together. All I've done so far is load the flight into, here we are, Northwest Flight 9333 from Minneapolis to Detroit. Our alternate is Cleveland. And let's get set up here. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. The Northwest flows. Here we go. It is all set up. The aiders I've put into align mode. There. Set this to captain. Jip was set up. Ground control on. Oxygen is on. Leave the fuel pumps off for right now. External power is on, batteries are on. Let's see what the temps are. Strobe, seatbelt sign is off, no smoking signs in auto. Emergency lights are armed. Put the PA up. Got all X's. Oil quantity for the quick flight over. Oxygen level pressure is good. Amps are coming down as they start to charge and then don't, so that's all good. Alright. Come across the top. The weather here in Minneapolis. Get this all loaded up. Nice day in both places, and we've got an altimeter setting of 3024. By the way, I still have to even set up my regular streaming rig, so if I sound different, it's because I'm on a different microphone and not using my high quality mic. Constraints, VOR, we are flight planned. Seems awfully high for such a short trip, but we're awfully light too, so that might make perfect sense. Brake fans are off. Those are not activated. We're not going to use ATC today, just because I'm not familiar with the aircraft. I mean, I do have quite a bit of experience in the 320, and this isn't significantly different, but until I'm used to it, I don't like to clog up. That's it with stuff that doesn't work. Alright, our cost index is 120. There we go. 120. Wind we've got. Descent wind we've got. Today at Minneapolis, looks like they're using runway 17. Yep. Depart 17. Cold 7 to Dells. And looks like at Detroit, it's 3 right. Yeah, we'll plan on 3 right, and then we'll head over to the gates from there. better. Not really. That's right, we'll vector ourselves when we get closer. MSP, depart. 17. Cold 7. Dells, insert. Détroit. 3 right. And it's via the Rocket City to Rock City to our zero fuel weight today. Load it up. 277.1. 25.4. With a block fuel of 29,000 pounds. Good. And then let's see. Taxi. Alternate. 5.3. I don't believe that extra time number. It's called 7.0. Alright. Let's do our takeoff numbers. Runway 17, sink it. 3039. Yeah, this looks about right. Air conditioning's on, anti-soft force toga off. Flex 72, 2744. Flex 72. Yeah, happy flex. 4.6 up. Yep. $27, 44, 45. 27. 44, 45, and I think we are about ready. Let's do the pre-flight check then. Logbooks checked. Reset buttons are normal. IDIRs are in nav. Let's double check that. Nav. Recorder is on. Cabin signs are off in auto. Emergency lights are armed. Fire push buttons are in. Side windows are locked. Instruments. About 37 degrees. Altimeter's 3024, set left, set center, set right, 840 feet. ECAM, doors and status is checked. Doors are closed, status is normal. Oil was at 16 quarts, we're good. Fuel, 29.0, minimum takeoff 26.9. Distribution is even, looks normal. Takeoff warning, checked. Thrust levers are at idle, engine master switches are off, brakes are set, 2900 psi, radar is off, oxygen masks have been checked, ACARS not using, McDo is set, pilot briefing is complete. Alright, I think yeah, let's just go. ADIRS lights are out. Flight attendant advisory switch. Now this is funny. Northwest had a flight attendant advisory switch, and I don't believe we have that. So we will manage it here. We'll get the beacon on. Seatbelt sign is on. Fuel pumps are on. Doors are green. Since this is a Part 91 flight, if the door opens, the VIPs can come up and say hi and see everything. And yeah, I think we're good to go. So let's get, we're going to push back. Left. G6. Perfect pushback. Excuse me. Oh, I never started the APU. We will get that going then.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
That's a cool livery. That was a really cool livery they had there towards the end. Their Northwest arrow.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
APU's coming up.
Locking gear.
Set a couple views here that I have not set before. APU's available. We're gonna forego the wait. Let's double check and make sure everything. GPU's removed. Nose. Left.
Release parking brakes. Commencing push.
Brakes are released.
All engines clear. Start at will.
Here we go. As soon as the nose is clear of the jetway, we'll fire them up. Set this in DFB. Alright, we'll go to start. Got good pressure. Let's turn one. N2. N1. Fuel flow. Light off. We don't have the oil pressure modeled very well. We should have oil pressure by now. Bam! Then all of a sudden we have oil pressure. Alright, start 2. Got good pressure on 2. Turning 2. N2.
Set parking brakes.
Light off. Brakes are set. Pressure's normal. There's our oil pressure instantly comes up. 2 good starts.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass bin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Sorry folks, I got one small delay here while I tighten down my side stick, my FS Projects amazing side stick. There we go. Alright, full down. What the heck? Down, full up, full left, full right, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Up 4.6, up 4.6. Brakes released. Taxi lights on. Takeoff config. Test. Normal. After start checklist. Brake check. Normal. ADR's lights, or sorry, before taxi check, AP bleed is off, engine anti-ice is off, ECAM status has been checked, transponders in auto, and we've had the salute. Our allowable takeoff weight is checked. We're flaps 1 plus F with a V2 of 45, 27, and 44. AP was off. Thrust mode will be toga. Cabin's ready. Flaps. Config 1. Config 1 plus F. Green. Trim 0 and 4.6 with a CG. Make sure this is right. 25.7, 4.7 up. 7 up. That looks pretty good to me. Let's go there. All right. Trim controls free and normal. All right, let's go to runway 17. Runway 17. Yeah, we'll see what this is like. I really like the A330 as an airplane. I mean, it's really a do-it-all kind of airplane, and I don't know, I've got sort of an affinity for the smaller wide bodies, right? Like the A300, the A310, the A300, 600. Really looking forward to Just Flight's version of the A300. So I don't know, I'm pretty fascinated by this airplane and love the fact that Northwest was the first North American carrier to really have it, and it's why Delta has them today. Bring up the, where are we going here? Need to go over to Alpha. Whiskey. Yeah, because Alpha will take me to 1-2, right? So I need to cross here. Let's get all the lights on. Whiskey all the way down to runway 17. 317. Should have zero traffic today as I learn this airplane. Alright. Right turn on whiskey. All lit up so we can cross parallel here, or cross 422. Are light. Look how quickly the airplane wants to accelerate. Based on the comments I've heard from real-world A330 pilots, that seems very realistic to me. Of course, there is one inconsistency with this livery, and that is that Northwest used Pratt & Whitney's. Not the GEs, but we only have the GE and the Rolls-Royce variants available to us in the sim. Hopefully that changes one day. Slight jog, minute ahead, then we'll stay on whiskey all the way to the end. Mapping is not a thing on this version either, which is a little strange because INI has it on their other aircraft. Not sure why they couldn't include it on this Sobo version. The thing I'm really confused about. There we go. Now we gotta climb in that. Armed. Didn't do that for me before. Maybe I wasn't aligned. Alrighty, Minneapolis traffic. Northwest 9333 heavy departing runway 17. Southeast departure via the Colt 7. Everybody ready? Lights. Camera. Slow us down a little bit. And we'll start the clock as we line up for action. You ready? EP bleed is off. Takeoff memo is all green. No blue. Actually, the procedure is to do that on this airplane with Northwest. AP bleed is off. APU is off. Landing lights. Takeoff memo is all green, no blue. Transponders on. Flight attendants notified. Takeoff briefing is complete. Takeoff check complete. Let's go. Spool up. Let's quick spool up. And flex. 72 SRS runway auto thrust is blue. Airspeed's alive. There's 80 knots. HB1. Rotate. Positive rate. It's nice engine sound. Right up to 50. We're navin'. How's that for a rate of climb? Flaps up. Yeehaw. That's some good acceleration there. Taxi, go. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. 4,600 feet a minute, that's all. Through 10, landing lights coming off. Flight attendants notified. Climb check. Flight attendants advisories on. Landing lights are off. APU is off. Packs are on. Gear is up. Flaps are up. Spoilers are disarmed. Altimeters to go at flight level 180. Climb check complete. It's actually a silent checklist. accelerating to our climb speed. Climb speed. Well, we're gonna have to nose up a little more. It's a pretty good rate of climb. Not bad at all. Mississippi River. The headwaters are a little north of here, up near Bemidji, I believe. No, not Bemidji. I can't think of the name. Anyway, headwaters of the Mississippi River are north of Minneapolis a little bit. Okay. Everything's looking good at the engine instruments and on the cruise page here. There we are through 18. Standard STDs, STD. Oh. Does that not work? Nope. Well, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. STDs for me and the first officer. On our way up to 410. Yeehaw! Go outside for a sec. Pretty good looking airplane, not gonna lie. So Northwest first took delivery of the A330-300 and the first flight was Detroit to Amsterdam. Northwest had a very strong relationship with KLM, which would explain the first route being Amsterdam. And as a matter of fact, when many years ago, when I was based in Memphis, we had a KLM flight that came into Memphis once a day as part of that partnership. Seems like it was always an MD-11. Later on, they took delivery of the 200, and those were deployed mainly on the Asian routes, whereas the 300 served mostly Europe. And as I mentioned before, that's why Delta has the Airbuses now. Because they acquired all these A330s and A320s from Northwest. Through 25,000 feet, still doing 2,000 feet a minute. Through 25,000 feet, 10 minutes after departure. That's pretty good. We're now picking up the Eau Claire VOR. We are in a part of the country I'm pretty familiar with. Eau Claire, Wisconsin, on the St. Croix River, western border of Wisconsin. Eau Claire's off to our left. That looks like Eau Claire up there. Here's the St. Croix River. And La Crosse will be off to our right side. Speaking of which, well, let's get up to cruise altitude, and then we'll go back and take a look at the cabin. Sorry about that, folks. Got a frog in my throat. I'm also working off of one monitor, which is why you may have seen that alert pop up a few seconds ago. So again, I don't have my multiple monitors set up yet. Makes this a little trickier. Cross down here. Eau Claire up there. On our way now to Delta Lima Lima, that is the Dells VOR, Baraboo, Wisconsin Airport. Wisconsin Dells is a sort of a well-known summer destination. Just north of Madison, Wisconsin. The airplane is using the Nodine VOR to ensure the accuracy of the leaders. All right, through 31,000 feet, still climbing at 1,200 feet a minute. 31,000 feet at 14 minutes. quarter. Hour and 5 block. A little over 500 miles. Rock City from Portal. There it is, right after Dells. And we should reach our cruise altitude right here, right near Volk. Camp Douglas. National Guard base, Army base. There's an airfield there. Looking good so far. Alrighty. 5,000 to go. That was weird. Odd view shift. As soon as we get to our cruise altitude, we'll take a look in the back. Three right. Alright, I stepped away for a second. And we're just coming up on 41,000 feet. Still doing 1,000 feet a minute. Pretty impressive. Of course, that's what happens when you're so light. That is a sharp livery. Alright, all crews is armed. Here we are, leveling off right near Fort McCoy, home air base. I can see it. Well, anyway. Level 410, 22 minutes after departure. Pretty good. Averaging 2,000 feet a minute. Almost right on the nose. And we have our first fix for the arrival coming up soon, just after port, so we'll start down. ILS 3 right. Final. I suppose after Rock City we could just head down towards Ribney. Or head south, head due south, and then make the turn. As we'll plan on doing. We'll vector ourselves back around. So we'll make the turn after Rock City. Which is just northwest of Detroit, the city. Up a little bit. Mach 8.0, 8 miles a minute. So we got about 20 minutes here at cruise. So let's go on back. See what's doing. Let me bring my keyboard a little closer. Our first class section. Section. I'm stuck. There we go. Let's get back up. I'm trying to find a good view here. I can set up. Because I like an engine view. there. Let's go over to the other side. Stuck. There's a wing view. I like to be a little bit behind the wings. Back here. Let's see about the other side. Maybe we do more of a instead of that. Yeah, let's do this. We'll do that. And then let's get an engine. The soundscape is changing nicely. As I move around the cabin. Close. Well, that'll have to do. Alright, so I got... This is how I set up my views. I use the num key. 0 I like on my tablet. 1 is my normal pilot view. 3 I have set for the pedestal. Normally 2, I might not have done it. 2 I normally set up as sort of a landing view. Where I don't have the full bottom screen. So 1, 2, 3 is the pedestal that includes the McDo's. 4 is the aft left. 5 is the aft right, or 6 is the aft right, 7 is forward left, 8 is forward right. Back in the cockpit, the 5 key is my lights and lower overhead, and then I normally set up 8 to be the entirety of the overhead, so let's do that. Not anything back above that I need during normal flight. Pre-flight a little bit. So let's do it like this. So that's Control-Alt-8. Alright, so if you're looking at the num keypad, so the 0 is my tablet, 1 is my normal pilot view, 2 is sort of a landing view, 3 is my center pedestal and McDo's. 5 are my lights, so you can see when I go for my, look up a little bit in the middle is 5, 1 to 5, and then the overhead is 8. So if you picture that on the num keypad, you can see it sort of makes a little bit of sense here. And then the cabin left and right, forward, aft, left and right are the 7-4 and the 9-6. And that's how I set up my views. Now with Chase Plane, it's a little different. do a little bit more. But that's how I like to set up my views. All right, we're about to cross over to Lake Michigan. We are just south of Oshkosh, and we're going to cross Lake Michigan just north of Milwaukee by West Bend and Port Washington. There's Lake Winnebago. This is Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. There's Oshkosh. There's the airport, Oshkosh, home of the famous air show. And if you were with me when we flew to Green Bay, you can just sort of make out Green Bay here. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Here's Milwaukee. There's the airport in Milwaukee. And can't quite see far enough down the lakefront. Boy, you can almost see the south shore of Lake Michigan. In fact, maybe you can. It's hard to tell with the haze. But very lovely visibility today. And you can see across the lake. It's about 40-50 miles at this point, I'm gonna guess. This is Port Washington. I'm sorry. That's Sheboygan. And this is Manitowoc, Wisconsin. And then that's the beginning of what's called the Door County Peninsula. Another kind of well-known vacation spot for people in the Midwest. So we got about 80 miles to our top of descent. What a cool airplane. And the fact that it is so similar to the A320, right? The overheads are extremely similar. There's some differences that you may notice. For instance, the APU fire handle or fire push button is not up here. It's over here. You've got an APU battery, separate APU battery. You've also got the standby fuel pumps. There's no separate sort of center pump section. The electrical panels, but other than that, the fuel panel is very similar. The hydraulic panel is very similar. And then the pneumatic panel is almost identical. Got the bleeds, got the packs, temperature controls. You've only got 2 versus 3 in the A320's family. You've got sort of cabin front and rear. But in the A330, you've only got the 1. You got a flow. I guess I could put it on low flow since we have very few people on board. And then the light panels is very similar, except there's only 1 landing light button, not 2 of them. Which frankly I never quite understood, because I've never had the need to turn one side on landing lights and not the other. Even on some general aviation aircraft that have 2. Why not just have one switch that covers them all? I mean, I guess the argument maybe is if the switch fails. But not having landing lights is not an emergency situation. But very, very similar. My view is still stuck. There we go. All right. 8,000 foot cabin at 41,000 feet. Shoreline of Wisconsin, and then right in the middle of the lake it becomes Michigan. With the Detroit being the largest city. We will cross over into Michigan, straight ahead here near Muskegon, which is right here. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I took a ferry that ran from Milwaukee. The ferry ran from Milwaukee here. To Muskegon. It's a ferry you can take your car on, and because we went to, we have a house in northern Michigan, so rather than where I live in sort of the northern part of Illinois, it's nice to not have to drive down south around the tip of Lake Michigan. So get on the ferry. There's actually two ferries across Lake Michigan. There's the high-speed ferry, which is what we did this time, but then there's also the Badger. And the Badger is the last coal-fired ship on the Great Lakes, and it goes from Manitowoc up here across to Ludington, Michigan. That's a fun trip too. Now the high-speed ferry I took takes about 2 hours to cross the lake from Milwaukee to Muskegon, and the Badger between Manitowoc and Ludington, Michigan takes, I don't know, 5.5 hours. It's much slower, but it's a lot larger than the high-speed ferry. The high-speed ferry is sort of a catamaran. I don't know how many cars it holds. 50 cars. Whereas you could probably put 80 cars on the Badger, if not more. Anyway, it's a fun way to cross the lake. Fun thing to do in the summertime. Alright, coming up on our 40-mile mark to our top of descent. Miles. Cabin's already started its descent. Looks like. Oh no, it hasn't. Sorry, that's what's armed for a descent rate. I don't know. I lost my concentration for a second here. Anyway. It'll start down a bit. All right, the Rock City Arrival. We're going to start up here at Portsel, which is right here. We're just about on it. And the bottom of it is 6,000 feet at Valley. So let's go ahead and dial in 6,000 feet. Like I said, we'll probably turn off it before we get there. Mach 0.81, 300 knots in the descent, that's fine. Like I said, I think what we'll plan on doing, because we're landing 3 right, which is this runway right here, is when we get to Rock City, we'll continue our descent to 6,000, turn to the south, and then make our way over to runway 3. And this is normally a runway 22 right arrival, and in the interest of time, I didn't want to go through all the arrivals to figure out which one would be best. Actually, I guess I did sort of look, and there were no other arrivals from the northwest. It looked like from the diagrams that Navigraph gives you. Anyway, we'll make it work. We shall make it work. So you can see we start our top of descent here right at MKG. It's Muskegon. So it's sort of interesting in this part. So Muskegon, Great Lakes, Kalamazoo, all operate under what is called Great Lakes Approach, and it covers that's a big area. You know, Muskegon here is at the 30-mile mark, all the way out to Kalamazoo, so 50 miles that way. And I guess they're all in Kalamazoo, the approach controllers, even though they do approach for Muskegon and Grand Rapids as well. Well, I mean, they cover this whole area. Go a little farther south, and it's South Bend approach. So when I fly general aviation around the lake to head up to our place in northern Michigan, when I fly myself, I'm talking to South Bend and then Great Lakes, and then you get a little north of here, just north of Muskegon, and they hand you back off to Minneapolis Center. Of course, in our world on VATSIM, very rarely is Great Lakes Approach online. Usually you're just talking to Minneapolis Center when they're on. All right, 13 miles to our top of descent. Let's go ahead and start our descent now. Biff. Descent. Here we go. Let's come back a little bit. 1,000 foot a minute until we catch up with the descent profile. We'll hold Mach 8.2 until we get to 200 or 303 knots, I believe is what I calculated. Our performance mode should have switched it to descent. It has. Let's go ahead and get the approach information in. Let's look at the weather at Detroit. Detroit weather. Our controller's on. Looks like calm winds. Temperature of 23 degrees. The QNH of 3029er. 3029 goes here. The ILS 3 right. Of 833, 8 tree, band. Looks like we're all ready. We should see the yo-yo start down here in a minute. Interestingly, us graphically where we intercept the VNAV. So that's a little sus. This is where we start our slow to 280. That's what that is marking. Now. This is Muskegon, Michigan. There's the airport. This larger city is Grand Rapids. There's the yo-yo. So what I know about the 330 is that it does not like to come down and slow down. No go down, slow down. It's a glider. The wings were actually the 340 wings, from what I understand. Right, so it's got a lot of wingspan, a lot of wing area. I wonder if that means it's not a great ride in turbulence. The smaller the wing loading, meaning the greater the wing surface area for the weight, the smaller the wing loading, the less comfortable the ride is in turbulence. Right, it tends to bob around more in turbulence versus an airplane with very high wing loading that is a lot of weight for each square foot of wing, which tend to gives a better ride. It's like a difference between a really heavy ship in the ocean and a lighter ship in the ocean. So notice how we got to the lower limit of the speed envelope, and it came out of idle. It's still wanting to hold Mach, but it's adjusting to stay in that band. So that's pretty good. Idle. Now we've got an intercept point, although we're already on it, so I'm not sure what this is trying to tell me here. Normally you just get that when you're off path a little bit. Unless it's trying to tell me that's where I'll reach and file the 210. I got 6,000 in. It's got the alt constraint. On the arrival, coming up on Bucky, Tinder, Freely. Oh, duh. Ace Freely. Rock City. Kiss. Because then we got Simmons, Rock City. Bucky. Looking good. Seven back times 3 is 21. Yeah, we're gonna fall right in between, and that makes sense if that's what it's telling me, 21,000 foot arrow. Check. Descent check in just a little bit. Northwest likes to do their descent checks right around 18,000 feet. Altimeter in Detroit 3029. Put that on the standby as a reminder. I gotta figure out what gate we're going to. navigate. Yeah, Detroit. So let's say, yeah, I'm using FlightAware to look up. And here's an A330-300 and a used gate A50, Alpha 50. Between 230 and 210, 280 knots. We're slowing to 280. We're still on path. There we go. Now we should, our rate of descent should increase a little bit. See how shallow we have to get to slow down? And it's not slowing down very quickly. It's a slick airplane with a lot of wing. Alpha 50. Let's it's right there. So we're gonna land 3 right. Probably turn off here, come across, Victor, Bravo, that's what I'm guessing. Alright, we're back on track, below 230, now we're trying to make 190 to 160, stay at 280 knots. Even though you got VNAV, got to stay on track of what's going on here. Flight 160 is our next constraint. Well, not flight level, but 16,000. It'll change as I switch the altimeter setting over. I think we can sit everybody down now. Let's do the descent check. Seatbelt sign is on. Altimeter still at standard, but we're prepped for 3029er. ECAM status checked. Below landing weight, we are well below max landing weight. We're at 295,000 pounds. We're in good shape as far as that goes. Maintaining our 280 knots per the arrival. It's flying well. I gotta tell you, for an included airplane, I think it's safe to say that I&I Builds has given Asobo the 2 best included aircraft, right? This, and then I happen to think the A310 is actually a pretty decent included airplane. But this airplane's flying nicely. I mean, it's, you know, there's certainly some shortcomings. But I wonder if I can turn the temperature down. Condition. Oh yeah. The supply side temps are coming down. Well, that's modeled. That's kind of cool. Same with bulk. Can I make it colder? Yeah, look at that. So that is modeled. I thought I read somewhere it wasn't. Sweet. Again, not terribly important, but just a sign. Alright, 18,000 feet, 3029er is set, left and right. And a little high. Let's help it. A little speed brake action. the red tail. It's a nice animation on that. Cabin's coming down nicely. We hit freely between 19 and 16, and now Simmons above 12. Not going to be a problem. That's our next constraint. It's flying well. I have flown the INI, is it a 320 Neo that's included? I think that's right. It's not so bad. It had a couple quirks, but it flew okay. So it will be the ILS. Runway 3 right, chart 11-1, effective 18th of May. This new chart though, effective 24th of May. It's based on the localizer 111.5 with a course of 36 degrees. ILS 3 right's in, 11.5, correct frequency. Intercept the glide slope at 2,000 feet, take it down to 833 feet. Airport elevation is 645 feet. That's touchdown zone elevation is 633, which is a 200-foot decision altitude. If we go missed, we're going to climb to 1,100 feet, then a right turn to 4,000, outbound via the DXO 122 radial, the Detroit 122 radial to gauge at DME 16.1 and hold, which is in the box. Yep, there it is. Not sure why it's not drawing it, but okay. How about we don't go missed? All right, Simmons above 12, not a problem. And then Rock City between 13 and 11. And we'll make the right turn to head south before we get there. Anyway, runway 3 right. Has a PAPI on the right-hand side. Has approach lighting with sequence flashers. And we should pick up the airport and the runway well before, since we have nice weather in Detroit. Any questions? No questions. Very good. Slow down to 260 knots at Rock City. Came to idle. We're getting a little high. I'm going to help it out with a little speed brake. And at Rock City, I'm going to make the right turn to 180. In fact, let's do it now. 180. Open descent. Thrust idle. Heading. Master caution. Speed brake's still out. Take care of that. And that, boys and girls, is why you always leave your hand on speed brake, so the airplane does not try, although it didn't try to level off, so it wasn't a big deal. But what you don't want to do is have a situation where you're leveling off. Rib me. 3,000 feet. MSA around here is 2,800 feet, so we can go right to 3. I'm going to go to vertical speed mode. Let's go to 1,500 feet a minute. Because our level off arrow is still almost, I don't know, let's call it 12, 15 miles. The intercept point from Ribney. So we'll go to 1,000 feet a minute. Get bounced around a little bit. Some turbulence. I got everybody sitting down. Alright, we're through 10. Lights can come on. So now we're going to level off right here, which is nice because that's a good place to do my turn in. Inbound course 36 degrees, so 90 degrees to the right would be 126 degrees. So we'll plan a left turn to about 130. Or 120. Once we're past Ribney, and then we want to give ourselves a little bit of an intercept. Go and do the approach checklist. Flight attendants have been notified. Approach briefing is complete. Approach frequency course is 111.5. 3 right. It's showing on the screen, so it's expecting that 36 degrees will be our inbound course. Oh, we're at 250 knots. Activate approach phase. VAP will be 121 at this weight. We'll plan on a flaps full landing. These approach speeds of the 330. Again, indicator of the big wing. Minimum bugs are set. 833. Auto brakes. Plan on low. Right is plenty long. Yeah, 10,000 feet. I think we'll be fine with the brakes low. At 120 knots. Alright. Look, we're at idle, and we're descending 1,000 feet a minute. Now we are slowing down very slowly. Again, the plane likes to plane wants to fly. Airport, maybe over there. Is it slowing the green dot? Look how low green dot is. 180, not even 190 knots. 187-ish. No, it's actually right here, 186. It's crazy. Right? In the Airbuses, it's, what, around 210? A lot of times, 200 knots. In the narrow body. It wants to fly. I got a 500 feet a minute. Sort of on this modified downwind. Let's go to 160. We are cleared for the approach. Cleared to land, as far as I'm concerned. It is bumpy today. I don't want to go this slow this far out. Let's go to 210. Let's get down to altitude and then hold this modest rate of descent, and then we'll level off a little bit before ripping, which will give us a chance to get dirty and prep for landing. The airport. We had the flyby view. There's the airport. Yeehaw. Bumpy. About 22 years ago this took place, 2003 I want to say. It's when Northwest inaugurated service on the A330 to Amsterdam out of Detroit. And that started the changeover, so this plane was meant to replace the DC-10s. Northwest never had MD-11s, but they did have quite a few DC-10s, and they had 747s. The 200 replaced the 747s because they were mainly Asian route. All right, leveling at 3. I'm sorry, at 3. 3000 is blue. Once we hit that 10-mile marker, we'll start slowing. At idle. I guess it's fighting the turbulence a little bit. Alright, let's get ready for landing. My new sim rig, I got an adjustable seat. It's kind of slick. Back for cruise and stretch out a little bit. 2500 check. Let's go back to managed speed. Start slowing to green dot as we level at 3. Glide slope just came into focus. Alt star. Heading 120. 120. And we'll plan a left turn to 060 to intercept once we get a little closer. Green dot. You know what green dot is, right? It's L over D max. That is the most lift. So it is the speed you go to if you were to have the dual engine flame out. It is the most lift the wings will generate. If you try to increase the angle of attack anymore, then drag starts to overcome lift. If you reduce the angle of attack from green dot, you're reducing lift. So green dot is a very important speed. It's the most efficient speed for generating lift. Right? It's not the most efficient on an approach to fly around a green dot necessarily, because ideally you're at idle power almost all the way down. But we took some liberties because of this vectoring the approach, and the star I was on was not really meant for this runway. So, but that happens in real life. You get vectored around. Alright, we are slowed. As soon as I put flaps out, it'll start slowing some more. In fact, let's go to config 1. Flaps 1. Flaps 1. Couple slats. Can't really see him. Good. Config 1 is green. And now the airplane's slowing to S speed. Let's turn left. 060. And intercept. Approach. Second autopilot. Cat 3 dual. AP 1 and 2. Glide slope and locar armed. Oh, I went through it. Start my turn a little late. Well, that happens in real life too. Star. Glide slope's alive. Flaps 2. Gear down. Slow approach speeds. Alright, glide slope intercept. Set miss approach altitude. It was 4,000 feet. Going to 833 feet. Landing checklist. Landing checklist. Flight attendants have been notified. Altimeter 3029 set. 1, 2, 3 times. Gear down and green. Flaps. 4 or full green. Spoilers are armed. Just waiting in the cabin. Short final.
1,000.
1,000 feet, stable, sink 600. Although it is bumpy, a little gusty. My airplane. My controls. Outside, making sure the flight director, what it's telling me makes sense. Because the flight director is totally reactive, it is not predictive. So sometimes looking outside you can tell what you're doing, but I am on glide path.
300.
Alright, I'm totally visual now.
Above.
Right.
Minimum.
Very light winds.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
1 down, 2 down. Spoilers, decel, reverser screen. Still. Manual braking. And that is how you do that. Taxi map. We did not use much runway. Let's make the hard left turn on Whiskey, go all the way back down to Juliet, and then come up the alley. Whiskey 4. Oh, actually, no, we can come across on Papa 3. Yeah, let's do that. My flap handle just went flying across the room. Oops, missed my turn. That's why you got two pilots. Papa 3. landing check. Landing lights are off. Flaps are up. Spoilers are disarmed. Radar, I don't think I ever had running, is off. Off. TA. Clear left. Clear right. Light them up. Going to Alpha 50. Let's let them know we're coming. Here on Foxtrot. Papa 3 Mike Foxtrot. With a warning about not stopping on the bridge. Never stop on a bridge when you're flying an airplane. Why is that? Any thoughts? The reason you do not stop on a bridge is in case you need to do an evacuation. Those slides, you don't want the slides popping and dumping people over the side of a bridge. And we'll turn left on, we'll take this up to uniform. There's a rough bridge. 1 second left. Yep, here's uniform. Uniform 9 to Alpha 50. On the other side. We're looking for Alpha 50, Alpha 70. I don't know what the rule is regarding single engine taxiing. So I'm not going to do it. I'll have to study up on that. 64. It's a nice scenery. There's 50, isn't it? that line. Set, pressure is normal. Turn the lead. Let him up. Shut him down. Let's see if we can get... What's the GPU? This went down really fast. Turn off. And let's start the deboarding. See what we can't do dual jetways. Is it going to L1? It is. Ground. Shocks. Oh, it's already open. All right, let's shut it down. Parking check. Flight attendants spin advised. Beacon is off. Seatbelt sign is off. Ice protection's off. Fuel pumps are off. Engine master switchers are off. Transponders in standby. Chocks are in. Brakes are, we'll leave set. Our brake temp shouldn't be very high. Oh, 240 degrees. Well, I think they'll be all right. And we are deboarding. Well, there you go, folks. Mission accomplished. We got the very first Northwest A330 to Detroit. They'll start prepping it for its trip tonight over to Amsterdam. Got the VIPs there all safe and sound. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. I know this isn't a classic Jet Sim Pilot episode, but anything with the Northwest livery I consider classic. And that's a good one. That is a good one. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's something a little different, but wanted to put together something with the equipment I have up and running. Hopefully next week I'll have everything set up and we'll be back to normal. But until then, keep the shiny side up. Thanks for being with me today. We'll see you next time.